Hey guys, welcome back to Ballistic Performance. We have a Saturday morning review. We have a 20 gauge Model 17 Remington shotgun. So we have a hot cup of coffee and a cozy house. Let's get a little history on this guy. Before 1882, there were no repeating shotguns. There were break action single shots and double barrels, and that's it. In 1882, Spencer released the first slide action repeating shotgun, followed closely then by Winchester in 1893, and they re-released that gun in 1897 with some tweaks, and that became a wildly popular gun. In 1908, John Pedersen, known for the Pedersen device of World War II, known for the toggle-locked Pedersen rifle that went into trials against the M1 Garand, one of the most prolific designers the country's ever seen. In 1908, he worked with Remington and they released a slide action shotgun, the first for Remington. At the same time that he was working with Remington, John Browning, perhaps the most famous and prolific gun designer of all time, was working with Winchester, and he had worked on refining the Model 12. Instead of side ejection and making cartridges go up and down, forwards and back, and side to side, he decided, what if we could just make them go up and down? So he designed a bottom feeding, bottom ejecting slide action shotgun. Browning applied for patents in 1913 for this shotgun, and don't mind me while I flip my notes. There was a lot to talk about. So Browning designed this bottom loading, bottom ejecting slide action shotgun to be light and handy. He sold his patents to Remington. John Pedersen and a G.H. Williams, I'm not sure on that exactly, refined it, got a couple of other patents, and I'm not sure, I tried to look up exactly what the patents were for. I couldn't get the full text, but essentially they showed pictures of the action, so I'm assuming he refined the action in some subtle ways, and the Model 17 was born. However, World War I delayed any production. They were already producing things for everybody else and completely busy at the time. So it wasn't until 1921 that the Model 17 started being produced. And they produced it until about 1933. And then for the next 15 or 20 years, they continued to sell stockpiles of the gun. They made approximately 73,000 of them in various guises, regular express, premier style, police riot gun. This gun was not an extreme seller. It wasn't super popular, but this action would live on in the Ithaca Model 37 for decades as a 12 gauge. So let's go ahead and get into this thing and look at some markings and how it works. Okay, so like I said, this is a 20 gauge Remington. Get it back in the camera here. Not a lot of markings on this guy. Try to get it right there. Remington Model 17, the serial number. And the serial number again on the barrel and the choke marked in full. Now right here we have a little proof mark, and then down in here, it's really hard to see, there's a W and a Y, which indicate August of 1930 on the barrel date code there. On the top of the barrel, we have, if I can try to get it in focus for you, we have Remington Arms Company, Ilion Works, Ilion, New York, made in USA, Browning's patent and the number, and Pedersen's patent and the number. And then over here on the other side, right here, we have a Remington proof mark and a final inspection, meaning that it's been fired and everything works there. This particular gun, I think, is the premier version. There's checkering on the fore end and checkering here on the back. The stock is somewhat finished. It's in original condition. Let me see if I can get you the action here. So we have a 5+1 tubular magazine, and right here we have a pin that kind of makes this captive. We unscrew this guy and you can pull the barrel off, and that was one of the other things that was new, was a takedown version of a shotgun. You could disassemble this gun and get it into a small space. You can pull the tube and the slide off, and then you're into the bolt. Now here we have a slide release. You can depress that and then of course eject shells or whatever. We have a regular just cross bolt safety, prevents the trigger from going back. Now it's a pretty sleek little gun. It's only about 5.5 pounds and narrow. There are lots of little pieces that fit very tightly inside there. So we will not be taking this one apart, unfortunately, but I will see if I can't describe to you just exactly how this works. So right here, like most guns, we have, if I can press on it, the magazine follower, and right here we have the catch that holds the shells in the tube. So when the bolt is in battery, this guy keeps shells in the tube, and when you come all the way back, the bolt has a lever on it that pushes that out of the way, and the shells kick out and they land on top of these lifters. Then as soon as you pull the slide forward, those lifters go up, ready the shell to be chambered, and then here comes the bolt. Here's an extractor right here, and it clips over this guy right here. Now you'll see this is the end of the bolt. It's very short. The way this bolt locks up is difficult to explain, but essentially it's two hooks like that. There's a top piece of the bolt and a bottom piece of the bolt, and I know this is hard to describe verbally. They hook together. There is no rotating bolt face. There is no toggle lock. There's no roller delay. So tilting bolt, it's not really a tilting bolt, although in order to unlock it does need to tilt. But when the slide goes all the way forward, the shape of the receiver right there locks the top and bottom sections of the bolt together. The fire control group on this guy is a lot like an AR-15. There's an internal hammer that is cocked back by sliding the bolt back, and then when the back of the bolt is right here and it's in battery, depressing the trigger lets the hammer fly home and strikes the firing pin. So there it is, a 5.5 pound slender, quick action, beautiful little gun. Like I say, they only made about 73,000 of them. They made them from 1921 to about 1933. And kind of the big takeaway from this is that this particular gun was designed by the two most prolific, most talented and famous gun designers that America has ever had. And this would be the last repeating shotgun that John Browning would design before his death in 1926. So pretty cool, quite a bit of provenance there. So thank you guys for watching. We'll get this out and we'll do some shooting with it and show you how light and fast it is. So thanks for watching.